Hey everybody. I gotta get this hair together. But anyways, um I came out here. Today is Sunday and doing a little cleaning, some laundry, stuff like that. Did my service on the phone. So I came out here because I was listening to an interview in regards to how Sierra and Russell met, and it was five things that was non-negotiable for Russell. And of course, they both prayed. And, a lot of people asked about her prayer and things of that nature, but like she mentioned in the interview, like it wasn't something that just was like overnight and it happened. Like she had prayed over time for, God to send her someone who would love on her the right way versus the unhealthy way. Anyways, I'll just share like at least two or three of the five that Russell mentioned when they were talking to Lala. And he said that he prayed for, and it was on his list, to have a faithful woman, a woman that believed in God or, believed in something higher than herself. A faithful woman, a woman that wasn't trying to cheat or, got uninterested in him. Someone that was independent, so had an identity for herself. So let's, back up some years before. I remember writing a list of 10 things that I would like to have in a man, but there were at least three of the five that he mentioned. I do remember mentioning that I wanted a man that was respectful to his mother, his parents, especially his mother, because that kind of sets the tone for the relationship. Of course, the man that believed in God, put God before anything. Like, that was like the number one thing is believe in God and, allow God to kind of guide you in a way that He wants you to go. Helping others, always being that person that helps others without a doubt. I like helping others. I think one of my love languages was act of service. Because I'm always pretty much in the community, always, you know, trying to look out for other people. Anyways, the guy I've been talking to, I think I mentioned maybe once or twice, the guy that I've been, talking to, well, I asked him what was his non-negotiables. And he pretty much said that he wasn't in the headspace to answer the question. And so, I don't know what you guys and gals, like how you come to know when it's time to be in the headspace to answer the question, or if you've even thought of the question. It was definitely an eye opener for me because I have never thought of five non negotiable things in a relationship. Now, I've told you at least three of my five things that I for sure would have liked to have or want to have in a healthy relationship. But, everybody has their time when they share their non-negotiables, I guess, with you. I do think that people in general, I don't know if they are looking for love or if they just looking for the idea of having someone in their life, or if they just want the benefits out of having someone around. For me, I mean, I have my, tendencies of, I guess, mood swings, or I don't know, where I just kind of need to be with myself type deal. And I think everyone in general has that time where they just have to be by themselves for a couple of hours, couple of days. I don't know. Like sometimes you can be with someone and then you start thinking about like all aspects of like how did this happen? Do I or am I deserving of this feeling? And it's hard. It's real hard, you know. I don't, share too much about when I'm in the relationship as much, and I probably should, but I mean, I tried to. I'll say in the last relationship, I did try to express myself a little bit more, but then it seemed that when I was doing recordings like this, that it was an issue, it was a problem. So then I kind of stopped doing it because, I was trying to make this person, feel like I'm giving them the attention or the love that they need. And it's crazy because rest his soul, he left me a message and expressed how he felt I took the love away. And I've never heard a person express this to me. But I, was thinking, do I really do that? And then, I do work a lot. I am in school. I have both parents that I'm, trying to juggle, between the stuff that I have going on. And then I thought, as much time that I try to provide or share, it seems like most times, I don't know if I'm edgy or if I'm just not with the program of like the hangouts. Like my hangout is a little different. Like I have to be in the mood to like hang out, if that makes sense. Like I have to like literally be in the mood. Like literally in the mood. Like I can't just, every day. Like it's not an every day, every weekend thing for me. Like every weekend and every day is different for me. Only because I work. Only because I'm in school. When I wasn't in school, I think I was a little bit more funner and I was less uptight and less stressed. But usually when I'm in school, I'm like super stressed. Having, I don't know, panic attacks sometimes. So basically, like, if I haven't slept enough for some reason, like, I get freaked out, like, I'm running late for something, like, I'm supposed to be at work and I'm and I'm not scheduled to work type deal. Like, I'll wake up out of nowhere, like, freaked out, like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be somewhere. And then I realized, oh, I'm not scheduled today. Or, oh, I'm lacking some sleep, so I need to, try to catch up on my rest. And then I just feel like sometimes that, maybe it's my fault that I'm always trying to make the other person happy all the time. And then I kind of neglect the things that make me happy. Like I know for a fact that I always find something to do, always go do something. But again, when I'm in school and working, it's kind of reduced down to basically I have to fit it into the schedule. It's not a thing that I'm just like, oh, I can go do this like today, or like, be spontaneous about certain things. Like, on top of that, I have to be really mindful that, you know, it's a lot of stuff going on right now, especially with my mom. it's a lot going on with that. The situation is just like beyond fixable right now, and only thing I can do is see if I can, try and hope somewhere. Because at this moment in time, like she's older now. Like she don't need any more extra, headaches and stresses on her. She's already, helping take care of my aunt, which is her sister. She's also helping, take care of her husband. They and it's like, the lack of help from his kids is like beyond me, but that's a whole nother story for another day. I'm not even gonna get into that because that's negative energy. The same way, like my cousin, who my mom takes care of his mom, like he doesn't even bother to call, to talk to his mom, to come visit his mom. But he's so mad and so jealous about what, I'm not sure. What are you jealous of, sir? Because your mom done helped you on many occasions. Same way with my mother. I think I've gotten help less from them compared to how he's been helped. And I've not one time been jealous about how they helped him, how they got him out of his situations, none of that. Like I've had a few situations, but for the most part, I've either got myself out on my own, or that person just, was the bigger person and they just kind of was like, okay, let me get it together type deal. Let me, leave out of this situation. Whatever the case is, they did what they had to do. Or if I was just too much, like they just be like, you're just too much for me, and so then they move on or whatever. Or sometimes it was just like they were too much for me, and I'm like, yeah, I can't handle all of this. This is a lot for me to handle. And it's nothing wrong with you, saying that to a person and being honest. And right now I just feel like maybe a lot of stuff, move fast. And trust and believe. Like, I am very happy, but I don't think that I'm happy about how the situation happened. I'm happy that I'm able to, be a part of their life. But then I'm like, kind of like feeling some type of way because I feel like the approach could have been better. I felt like in my heart that, yeah, I could see, a nice future with this person. And then it's like, but then you have in the back of your mind all this other stuff happening. And then you're like, do I really need to be in a relationship right now? Because it's just like, it's a lot of stress. And I don't want to like add stress or put on more stress. And, I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. But I just know that at the end of the day, like, you have to be happy. You have to be able to know what your non-negotiables are. You have to know what God wants you to have based off of what you are asking God for. Because God will send what you ask for. It's just up to you to be the person to say you can handle what He's giving you. Because a lot of times God can give you something and you literally won't be able to handle what He gives to you. Now, mind you, the last few relationships that I've had, they've been either positive or negative. Out of the positive ones, I didn't have many. The negative ones were the ones that it ended for, various reasons. Don't even want to relive or rethink why and how things happened the way they happened, but they did. And again, just heal as a person, because you trying to add someone else into your life and you haven't healed, or you haven't asked God to help you, with the things that you struggle with, like, it's bound that it won't work out. Um, you know, it was like this one conversation, maybe I heard it wrong, but I feel like for some people, sex is like important, and that's fine. But sex also don't pay no bills. Sex don't help, when you need to pick up no kids. If you got kids, sex don't, help you put no food on the table. Sex do not help you get no rest and no sleep and be peaceful. Sex is fun. Sex is what you define sex to be. But if that's like your number one priority is that if sex ain't good for you, then it ain't gonna work, then that mean that you need to find that type of person that wants to do sex all the time and feel the same way that you feel about it. If sex isn't working or it's not at a certain level for you in the relationship, then yeah, it's probably not gonna work for you. And I think that people don't put their priorities in order. Like, first of all, even before sex, it's supposed to be God, because he's supposed to be the head of all decision making and to kind of guide what you need to do in order to fulfill your purpose. Of course, you need to discover what that purpose is. If you don't even know what your purpose is and you're just kind of just living life without knowing what that purpose is, or feeling like you don't have a purpose to live, then yeah, you need to reevaluate your life, who you are around, who you call your friends or associates, family as well. They ain't not excluded. Then you help others. If for whatever reason God blesses you with a wife or a husband, now you have this person who you need to try and learn, understand, be caring, because at the end of the day, it's supposed to have protection, peace, love in this bond. You have family, your kids and mom, all of those folks, dad, uncles, aunts, cousins. Then, you're like pretty much the last on the list, at least in my mind. You will be the last of the list because you're being so selfless versus being selfish. A lot of people are selfish because they want it to be always about them, when it's not just about them, it's about other folk as well. And I don't know, you just gotta like really be in tune with your mind, body, and soul when you're going through this journey of life, because it's not easy. Baby, listen, it's not easy. When I tell you school is not easy, but if you are determined to get what you want out of it, then it can be easy and fun and exciting, and an experience that you can't forget. But if you had an experience like I did when I was in my undergrad, after high school, all the stuff that I had to go through, like you listen, my book, you would be crying probably before the end of the book. The challenges and the things that I faced as a black woman, as a woman that was coming out of a low class, low income neighborhood, a neighborhood that, a city, a small city at that, but like a neighborhood that for the most part, it was stereotype that, you know, you'll get pregnant, you're not going to finish high school, you're going to drop out of school, you're not even going to make it to college, you're never going to get married, you're never going to have this. If you have kids, it's going to be out of wedlock. Like, it would be like so much negativity. And to come out of that, to go to college, to finish college, to get, you know, a couple degrees behind my name, and then, you know, to come back and say, I did it. And then to try to help the community, or to try to educate people, and then try to share different, you know, information with people so that they could come out of that mindset. Yes, it is so hard. It is so hard to be a black woman, to be single, to be a single black woman, you know, with a kid if you have one, to be the many millions of women who may have had to go get an abortion, the many women who've been assaulted or raped, the many women who not only are fighting in this society to have the same thing that any other person dreams of having, and not to have it fully. Like, you just be like, what am I doing wrong? Why is it that you get the stereotypical black man that, you know, for the most part, they don't want to do nothing with their life, they get in trouble, they want to be a gangster, they want to be out here in the streets, they want to do drugs, they want to do partying, whatever. And then you get somebody who's halfway decent, at least you think, but now they got mental issues, they have issues with women, they now, you know, view women as the same because one woman broke their heart. But, you know, and it's so crazy because most women don't always be in that, you know, that headspace and say that all men are the same. But for some reason, the men always hold women, you know, like up here somewhere, like at the top. Like, if you do something wrong, oh my God, like, you know, X you for the many things that you did to one black man or one man of any race. And, you know, and then to come back and be like, but I'm not the same. I'm not the same woman that you talked to years ago that you thought you was in love with. Or I'm not the man that, you know, you thought was like this and that. You know, and so we stereotype this in our minds. We, you know, we have this thought that just comes in our head that becomes negative about this person. And then you have to, like, you know, take a step back and say, okay, let me reevaluate this because that's not how I feel, you know. And then you turn around and you're like, okay, let's try this again a different way, you know. And then you have, like, the communication issues. I don't know how many times I can say that communication issues have been an issue. And maybe it's because I never was taught how to express myself the way some people are taught to, you know, express themselves. Like, literally, I mean, when I say it could be on my mind, but because of how I was raised, it's like it's not it's just not there. Sorry about that. I was in a thought process for like 2 seconds. I'm like, did I turn the stove off? I was trying to revamp my beef stew that I started yesterday. So I started with brown rice, and the brown rice cooks a little different than white rice. I'm not gonna lie, like, what I thought was done was still not there. So then I, like, cooked it some more. Still wasn't there. I even cooked it longer, and for some reason, it still wasn't like the rice was still not there.